Welcome to the Loading Up Podcast. I am your host, Brother Zay, and today we have with us Producer J.
What's good? What's good, man?
What's going on? Now let's get into all the good stuff before we get into shenanigans. If you are watching on YouTube, like, subscribe. It is free to do. We appreciate it. If you're listening to us on podcasts, you can rate us and share us out there so we get some more listeners and more viewers. We appreciate you all. We have links in the description for NordVPN, where you can get like 67% off of 2 years. Absolutely ridiculous sale. We also have links in the description for Starforce PCs for all your custom and pre-built gaming PCs, as well as W Energy Drink, where you can get 10% off your purchase by using code LUP at the checkout. W Energy Drink is really good. You guys should check it out. All right. Now that that's out the way, let's get into it. Producer J, talk to us. What have you been playing?
So, I mentioned last time, because we didn't talk last week, because it was WrestleMania weekend for all those wrestling fans, including myself. It's a very important weekend, so I was very busy.
It's a holiday,
essentially. So, so I really wasn't playing much leading up to it, but I did play some more Blueprints, which I'm getting farther into it, and honestly, like, it's one of those games, like, because it's at its core, it's a puzzle game.
Yeah.
But because it has the whole why am I blanking? What's the genre? The
roguelike?
Roguelike, yeah. Because it's like a roguelike, you have to kind of basically redo the puzzles, but the more you see the puzzles, the more you understand how to complete them when you get them, because you get them each time. It's random. Yeah. So when you get them, then you're like, okay, I can do this one. And then you can pre-plan how you're going to work around the mansion or whatever. It's really fun. That's my work game. I play it on my ROG Ally.
Nice.
So I've also been playing just recently. I just started it. I did not get past the tutorial level, and I know apparently it ends with a big something. I don't know. The game you're seeing right now, Clair Obscure Expedition 33. I just started it, so can't really say much, but it is a beautiful looking game. Like, I cannot get over how great it looks.
Yeah.
And I'm not opposed to turn-based. Obviously, I grew up with Pokemon, so like I'm used to it. And I'm playing Baldur's Gate right now, Baldur's Gate 3. So like turn-based, I'm cool with. But like for whatever reason, the JRPG style of turn-based, outside of Pokemon, like for Final Fantasy and stuff like that, I never got into for whatever reason, and I always kind of like avoided it for some reason. But this game, like, I want to get into it. Like, I don't know, there's just something about it that I don't know. It makes me want to play more. So I can't wait to dive more into it. I also got back, obviously, because of WrestleMania season. I got back into playing 2K25 WWE, and so those are the main things I've been playing.
Nice, very nice. Well, I did record for the show. So you're watching.
I'm probably gonna get spoiled a little bit. So
no, I mean, if you didn't go past the immediate tutorial, then yes, I recorded about an hour and a half. I got some really great footage, and then after that, I continued playing on the Xbox. Which, by the way, Game Pass is fantastic. I just gotta say this.
Yes.
Between everything that's dropping this week, which we'll get into later, but like it's absolutely fantastic because of Game Pass. I was able to download and record on my PC some Expedition 33, which, like you said, absolutely looks fantastic. The gameplay is really good. I'm not a big turn-based fan, although I did grow up with Pokemon just like you. I was never ever a big turn-based fan. That changed recently in recent years, because I played and beat Baldur's Gate 3 like 3 or 4 different times.
Hmm.
which I never do with video games. Once I beat them, that's it. They go to the side. So that shows
Yeah.
you how much I really
I
love
feel
this
like,
game.
yeah, with a game like Baldur's Gate, it's like it's different because like
Yeah,
there's so many permutations of how things can happen that like
absolutely.
you're very rarely gonna play the same unless you choose the same things. You're
Yes,
very rarely gonna get the same experience.
exactly. So yeah, it's really great. I really like it. I'm continuing to play it, but I'm also playing uh Oblivion Remastered. That
Hmm.
dropped this week as well. Again, Game Pass is just on fire because it's like my wife has never played Oblivion before. She's only played Skyrim, and she's a big Elder Scrolls Online player. So
Oh,
I showed her Oblivion, and now she can't put it down, which is great.
yeah.
We're finding new things, discussing the game, so it was really cool. I played it originally in 2006 when it came out, so to have this now is really fun. um I'm also been playing, Call of Duty and Rocket League, and we also play some of the college football, which we're not having a good time with. Oh man. But yeah, that's what I've been playing a lot of. Now I just want to
Nice.
get really quick back into Expedition 33 because I don't know if you've noticed or have heard, and not a lot of people have been talking about it. I have at least not I haven't seen it online. But the voice cast for Expedition 33 is absolutely stacked.
Yeah, I just found out about that today too.
Yes. Charlie Cox is
I had no
Gustav.
idea. I had no
Daredevil,
idea.
our very own Daredevil. He is
Yes.
the main character, and Jennifer English. She is the female lead, and she is from Baldur's Gate 3. She's Shadowheart.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Yeah,
haven't. Wait, is she? Well, I don't know yet. So, I mean, I'm sure if I hear
she's,
her voice, I'll be like, okay, that's her. That's Shadowheart.
yeah. You'll definitely 100% understand. Okay, that is Shadowheart. Like you can't. It's almost indisguisable. you
I'm
can
actually
for sure.
looking up the cast now. Andy Serkis
Yes.
is in it.
Andy
Ben
Serkis is
Starr.
in it. Yes. Yes. Christy Ryder, she's another one of the main characters. Andy Serkis is great. Like the cast is stacked. The English voice cast is absolutely stacked. And just kudos to Charlie Cox, Gustav's character. He plays it so well. And you can feel the emotion out of it. And honestly, I think this is his first voice acting like gig, and he does absolutely fantastic. So between the voice acting, the graphics, and
Well, actually, I do have a correction. It's technically not his first.
really,
He did appear in what was it in what was it the Spider-Man show on Disney Plus?
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I
Okay,
sorry if
okay.
that's a spoiler, but
No,
yes,
no, that's fine. That's
he
fine. It's
did
just
appear in there. I won't say which character, but he does do work on that one.
okay. That's great. That's great. But like I said, between the voice acting, the graphics, the music, even the gameplay, it's absolutely fantastic. If you don't know about it, it is on Game Pass. It's also on every single console or PC. Wherever you play your games, you can buy this. It's absolutely a fantastic game. I can't wait to delve deeper into the story. It is so far just absolutely ridiculous, and I can't wait to continue playing.
Yeah, I really like how the action is. It's not just like static. You know,
Yeah.
there's constantly things going on, and it's not like actually, you know what? It reminds me of I oddly enough, Paper Mario, because that's another like turn-based game that I played before, and that's like another exception. Like for whatever reason, it was only like specific games. Maybe it was just I didn't like Final Fantasy, but I don't know. I don't know. But when like you can when you're about to be attacked, you can dodge and parry and stuff like that. That like I don't know, maybe I'm sure other games have done it, but that's what it reminds me of. And it's like I at least the games I've played,
Yeah, so like
you don't see that.
Sea of Stars is like that, where you can do like extra things to attack or dodge. And that's why I really like Sea of Stars, because it gives you that extra gameplay when it's turn based.
Yeah, when it's not your turn, you can still do something.
Yeah, exactly. So it's different. and it's like evolved turn-based, but still turn-based. And I love that because turn-based was never really my thing.
Right.
So this really fleshes out the gameplay to make me want to continue playing. Although the story has to be good, and so far the story is absolutely crazy for Expedition 33.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people speaking praises about the story.
Yeah,
And
yeah, and
again, what's something we haven't even mentioned? This is a game developed by 33 people, a
yes,
core team of 33 people.
a French studio, 30. Yeah, it's essentially just a bigger indie game. You know,
And the
it's
fact that
crazy.
it looks as good as it does, it as far as I know, it doesn't have any like uh crazy bugs and stuff like that. Like the
Well,
fact that
there is performance issues on PC.
well,
I'll
yeah,
just say that, but that's mostly to do with the engine. They use
it's
Unreal 5
Unreal 5,
engine,
yeah.
and Unreal 5 is known to be what do they call it, like shaky or staticky. You can definitely see it.
It's still relatively new.
Yes, it
So,
is. And that's fine, especially because it's not like a big AAA studio who's using it, right? You know,
yeah.
they can patch things in, which is okay. You know, most companies do that anyway. I'm not gonna fault them for 30 people releasing this type of game and it being absolutely fantastic just because of performance issues.
Right.
And that has nothing to do with their, you know, they just gotta work on it a little bit more, send out some patches some more. So it's not that big of a deal. It's the game is still fantastic. You still try it out. Still really great.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been playing. I've been playing a lot of Oblivion more than Expedition 33, but I can't wait to dive back into Expedition 33 because it just after the tutorial, like that first hour that you see, I'll be honest, almost nothing happens.
Really?
Until the end, and then it just picks up like crazy.
Yeah.
So it's really fun to see. Like it's very low key at the beginning. You're very somber, and then all of a sudden just picks up. So I can't wait for you to jump into it. We can talk back about this maybe next week.
Yes, I will. Definitely.
Good. Let's get right into the news though, because we have a little bit to talk about with like we mentioned, Oblivion Remastered. It dropped this week. Shadow dropped on I think it was Tuesday, and it had already 4 million players in 3 days, and a concurrent Steam player count of 250,000 players. I think that broke Bethesda's record on Steam. So it's being taken in and just skyrocketed. It's absolutely being fantastic. It's doing great on Steam. Where I see it's not doing great, apparently, is some of the reviews.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. Talk to me about this because I really don't understand.
All right, so I'm gonna give you what I think is happening and what is actually happening. So what is actually happening is people are taking their time with it. Obviously, it was a shadow drop, so it's like, and then it's a shadow drop of a massive RPG, like 500 plus hours, something around those, like RPG that it's gonna take time for people to complete. And a lot of reviewers tend to want to complete games before they have a lot of review in progresses and stuff like that. That's probably the most likely scenario, and that's why, because usually when games come out with the reviews, they'll have people online who like show all like the top reviews and stuff like that. There's not much reviews, at least not much in comparison to what there usually is.
Mm-hmm.
But the cynic in me just can't help but just notice that it's an Xbox game. So they tend to grade Xbox games on a curve where they tend to give it a lower score than they initially probably would. I don't want to say that, but it happens so frequently that it's hard not to point out. And it's getting to a point where it's becoming like a meme at this point. And I think because I mean, even when you look at what was it? I forgot which reviewer. They gave it a 9 initially, and
Yeah,
then
so and I
now
think
they
it
give
was
it an 8.
yeah, I think it was IGN originally gave the Oblivion original release in 2006 a 9.3,
Right.
and the remaster they gave it an 8.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
like, I mean, it's literally the same game. They even kept the same exploits and same glitches. Even some of the voice acting mishaps, they kept it in there. You know, it just has better graphics and slightly better combat than the original. So you
it's
get the same
yeah.
exact game plus some better graphics and better combat, and all of a sudden it's an 8 from a 9.3.
I mean,
What
granted,
is that? That's for
that,
I don't know. For me, that's the Xbox tax right there.
I mean, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard to deny that this is an actual thing when it constantly happens with Xbox. I thoroughly expect Doom, Dark Ages to get a lower score because it's an Xbox game now technically. Um, and then people will always say no, it's not. Like, it doesn't play a factor. But this is like the most glaring example of an Xbox game being graded lower specifically because it's literally the same game. Like, unless they want to justify and say, oh, by today's standards it's different, and it's like, okay, so then maybe we should go back and re-review these older games and review them based on today's standards, right? No, that's not how this works. If you're not gonna grade it based on what it is and not like by, oh, like this is a game from 2006, and you're gonna grade it now by today's standards, then you do that for all old games. Because I'm pretty sure a game like what is it, Mario 64 is not gonna hold up by today's standards. Like, if you judge it by, if they did a remaster, like an actual remaster, kept everything the same, just did a upgraded graphics and lighting and all that stuff, but the core of the game is still the same, it's not gonna get the same score, or at least it shouldn't. But we're not going to do that because that'd be silly, right? So
Yeah.
to grade it like on a scale like that, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's literally the same exact game with a fresh coat of paint. And that's what people wanted. They wanted the same game, just like remastered. And that's that. A lot of people say, "Oh, this is a remake." Like, no, it's a remaster. Like, there's a reason why they call it a remaster, because at its core, it's the same game. Fundamentally, it's the same game. So, but the reason why is because the game, although maybe for its time it looked good, by today's standards, it looks like shit. Like, I
Oh
mean,
no, the original Oblivion absolutely looked terrible.
yeah, there was like
It
memes
was
about how the
so
people's
bad.
faces looked and stuff like that. Even now, they still make fun of it and stuff. But
Yeah.
um, there were games. It was one of those games that needed a facelift, and that's exactly what it was. It's a facelift. It's bringing it to the modern age, graphically, so that way new people can experience it and people can experience it again, but through a fresh lens.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I really don't understand why they gave it a lower score, like, or just why not. I don't know what goes behind these review processes and stuff like that. It's very odd, but
It is very odd.
hopefully, with more reviews coming out, because the score is going up. I remember when I last checked, it was like 85 or 86, and then I checked again, it was like 88. So it is going up as more reviews come out. But I mean, granted, reviews don't like, how many people were playing it? Like,
Yeah.
over how
I mean, they have 4 million players, and actively on Steam, it was over 250,000.
Yeah, so like, clearly people do not give a shit about what score it got.
Oh yeah.
It's Oblivion. Like, you know what you're getting. Like, people want it because it's Oblivion.
Yeah.
So honestly, that's why, like, I try not to get too upset with these review scores, but it's like, come on.
I just have to. You just have to point it out because it really sucks that Xbox is on a major roll, and then we got, you know, I'm talking about great game after great game coming out, being praised. We're talking a Game of the Year editions with like Expedition 33, and then you have the former Blizzard the ex boss Mikey Barr coming out talking about he's skeptical about 20-year-old remasters. You know, like he's literally dumping on Xbox. A former Xbox employee is dumping on Xbox for a shadow drop of a game that's 20 years old, and he's like, he literally, this is his words. I want you to hear his words if you haven't. He says, "I'm skeptical about 20-year-old remasters. What was once fantastic, now remastered, will never hold up against modern masterpieces like Elden Ring. The bar has simply moved from safe open world RPGs to what Elden Ring brought us all." He said, "I would love to be proven wrong, but I'm not." This was a couple days ago when it released. He's been proven wrong because
Yeah.
there are over 4 million players in 3 days. And mind you, 4 million players in 3 days. Astro Bot hasn't even hit 2 million players since it's released. So put that out there. So he's absolutely been proven wrong. I don't know who pissed him off at Microsoft, but he needs to shut the fuck up.
I was gonna say that there's probably a reason why he's not working there anymore.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he's probably not the best to like work with. Granted, like I don't know the guy, so like his opinion is his opinion, but it's clearly I was gonna say the wrong opinion, but it's not.
It's wrong.
It's
it
his
for
opinion.
you. I'll say it for you. His opinion is wrong. He was wrong. He was proven wrong.
Yeah, well, he was proven pretty stupid. Like I don't understand why he would like say something like that. Like it's one thing to have your own taste and stuff like that, whatever. But first of all, why would you even compare a game like Oblivion to Elden Ring? Like what? Those are not even complete. They're completely different games.
Yeah,
completely different styles of RPG. So why would you even compare them? Like graphically, like in terms of graphics, Oblivion looks really good. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what the comparison is. Like, yeah, it's a dated game. It's a game from 2006, but that's what people wanted because that game was great. And even to this day, they like it.
That game won Game of the Year.
Yeah. So it's like, I get like what I was saying. Like, if you're gonna compare it to modern games and stuff like that, then you got to do it for every game. Like, this is why I don't get that argument. Like, oh, by today's standards, it's not gonna hold up. No shit, because like it's not a new game; it's an old game.
Yeah.
You have different standards for older games. That's why when you go back, when I replayed the Metal Gear Solid collection, that's an old game. Obviously, it looks worse, it plays worse, but I like it because it's fun. Like that's what I grew up on. That's what nostalgia is. That's the whole point of these remasters and remakes and stuff like that. It's to feed off of this nostalgia, and maybe get new players into it who haven't experienced it. But yeah, ultimately, like these games are still a product of their time, but you have to grade them with that product of time, a product of their time in mind. Like you have to keep that in your review process or like your opinions, because like obviously that's not the case that it's going to compare. It's not supposed to compare to modern games. It's just supposed to be a remastered of an older game. Like I don't know. I don't get this. Why even compare? That's like if I could, like, again, I compare a Nintendo 64 game to a game that released this year. Like, yeah, I may grade that older game on the same level, but that's just because at the time when it came out, I enjoyed it and I liked it, and that's the grade I gave it. So it's like, does that automatically change with time as I get older? As games get older, do they depreciate in a review score or in quality? No, they're the same game. Nothing changes. So I don't know. I don't get his whole opinion and stuff like that. If you don't want to play it, don't freaking play it.
Yeah. I think it's just he's salty about, not being an Xbox anymore. Somebody definitely pissed him off.
Well, I mean, they also canceled his game, so I mean that maybe that had something to do with it.
Rightfully so. Didn't he destroy Overwatch when he was there? Like, who cares?
Maybe.
We'll continue because it's more about Oblivion. This time, just not from Mike Ibarra. We're talking about just an indie developer from publisher Raw Fury. Jonas Anderson. He claims that his game was originally supposed to launch on the 22nd, the same day that Oblivion came out, but his game got buried, in the, not what he calls chaos, but what everybody else calls just a massive shadow drop that that took the internet by storm. His game from his developers got just buried, and they were kind of upset that these big companies can just, drop a game at any time and completely bury hundreds of games that were supposed to come out that day. And I get it from the perspective of an indie developer. You guys, small team working hard to bring out your game, and you guys are very passionate about it. I understand completely, but at the same time, like, no, nobody's. It's not malicious. Nobody did it maliciously. They just decided to drop it out. Nobody has like a list of other companies' games that are going to be dropping, and like, all right, we're going to screw all these people over. It's not how it happens.
Yeah.
So like, I get it. He's upset about it, but it's not like they did it with malicious intent.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that it did happen. But if your game is good, and if your game will do well, people will notice it and they'll start talking about it, and it will get higher in the ranks on, let's say, Steam, wherever you release the game, and people will play it. And that goes for every game. Look at Expedition 33 dropping 2 days after Oblivion, and it is doing massive numbers. It sold like 500,000 copies, and so many more players on both on Game Pass, because it's released day one on Game Pass. So they're showing massive success for that studio. So it really is down to, is your game good enough to come out into the world and on its own, and not just be overshadowed by older remasters or new releases?
Yeah, I think ultimately, well, like you said, nobody wants to step on each other's toes. Like, obviously, there's a reason why like dates get changed and developers and publishers pick certain dates, because like you don't want to interfere with anybody else.
Yeah.
Obviously, but there's gonna be times where it's unavoidable. In the case of Oblivion, I don't know when if they initially planned to shadow drop it, or maybe they wanted it to be a little later or a little bit earlier, or what the case may be. I can see, like you said, the frustration, because like nobody knew this was coming, although it was like leaked all over the place. So like, did you really not know? Like, you kind of had to not be paying attention in order for you to not know that this game was coming. Like, it literally got leaked like a week before. Granted, that's not enough time to delay a game, but like, it got leaked, and there was rumors about it coming anytime now. And so, yeah, and this also happened with Assassin's Creed, and what was it, Avowed. I don't think there was like outright communication, or that's what they said, but it seemed like that was the case, that one of those games got delayed to make room for the other, but then the other game got delayed, and it's like, then they started coming out at the same time, so then the other one got delayed. So you can't indefinitely delay games just to avoid launching with another game. Like, that's just silly. Like, just release your game. I mean, nobody's gonna fault you if a bigger game comes out at the same time. Granted, that's your money. Like, that's your livelihood. You want it to succeed, so you don't want to come out at the same time of a bigger game. But there's nothing you can do about it. So, are you gonna just complain that did Microsoft purposely just drop Oblivion to fuck with your game? Like, no, that's not why they did that.
Yeah.
But I can see why you'd be upset at it. But at the end of the day, you just gotta hope your game can stand on its own merits, and that it could be successful on its own. Because look at what's gonna happen when GTA drops. Like, everybody's gonna clear out, but we still don't even know. Honestly, at this rate, I wouldn't even be surprised if Rockstar decided to do this and shadow drop GTA. Maybe not like on the day of, but be like, yeah, it's coming out like next week. I honestly, like, at this point, like, the Take-Two CEO said something like, we're keeping it close to the chest because we know that the hype sells itself, because they know that the game is highly anticipated. They haven't even dropped a trailer. They haven't dropped any information outside of that first trailer.
They did talk about how like the marketing's different now because of all the hype and everything about it. They don't even have to market it so much. The second they announce that it's gonna drop, people are gonna buy it.
Yeah, and think about this. People are already having the conversation about GTA potentially being $100. Rockstar never said anything. Take Two never said anything about that. All it is just people talking about it, and that is driving the conversation forward in what Rockstar may or may not do. And that's gonna be like they're letting everybody else do the talking for them essentially, and they're letting everybody else market the game, and that's kind of like what Xbox has been trying to do, but for whatever reason it doesn't seem to work for them, because I mean, and a lot of other publishers do it too. Like they use like the social media stuff where they'll do memes and stuff like that, and they'll let that be the marketing. That's why you don't really see ads for video games that much. You'll see them every now and then, but you don't really see them as much like we used to. Like we used to see them commercials. We used to see them.
Yeah, people consume things differently. Not people are not sitting in front of a TV watching TV and seeing an ad anymore. You know, everything is online. We got TikTok and Twitter and Facebook and all these other social media sites where they can make a post and it could go viral, hitting more people than they'll ever see on TV.
Right. So I think Rockstar or Take Two is getting ahead of that and basically using the GTA 6 like name and the weight that it holds to do the marketing for them. They don't need to put out a trailer because people already have it in their minds what the game is going to look like and what the game's going to play like. And also we had those leaks like last year, so people kind of have a general understanding. I mean, how much different could it be from GTA 5? Like, it's going to be fundamentally the same, just like with hopefully like smoother mechanics, better performance, stuff like that, like details and stuff upgraded for the time. But yeah, people already know GTA is going to be a big seller, so it's like, what happens to all those like games that are going to come out right at the same time, or like the indie games that are going to come out around the same time? It's like, are they going to blame Take-Two and Rockstar because they dropped GTA at the same time of their game? Like, no, they knew GTA was going to be a big game, so it's like,
no, they'll still blame them.
I mean, maybe they probably will.
Yeah,
but ultimately, it's not
another Xbox tax thing, and they're only doing it because Xbox game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but ultimately, if your game is good, it's gonna sell well, and if it's not, then I don't know what to tell you. Granted, there are cases where good games get buried and then they don't sell well and stuff like that, but I feel like there's more or there's less of those than than we know of.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, even if I think there's like something like 120 or like some outrageous number of games releasing every day, whether it's be on Steam or consoles. There's an unknown number of games releasing every day. Something's getting buried because I don't even know that. I didn't know that there was over 100 games releasing every single day. Like, where? You know? So something happens to where a game releases or something overshadows another game because it's bigger from a bigger company, whether it be a Sony or Xbox game. Something happens. Either way, you gotta roll with the punches and hope that your game can shine through that.
Also, there's also the potential for it to be a hit later on. Look at Among Us. That game came out like what, a year or two before it actually like started to get popular, and then it just blew up. I mean, granted that was because of the pandemic, but that's the type of thing that you don't anticipate happening. A game can find an audience later on. Just because it didn't find it right at the beginning doesn't mean that it's the end of the road. You can still find it later, and it can become a cult classic that can get popular enough to get like a sequel or another game or something like that. So to get so upset that on the launch day there was another game that kind of overshadowed it, like, no, there's still time for it to catch on. Like, that doesn't mean that that's the game is DOA.
Unless you're Concord.
Unless you're Concord, but in fairness, there could have been a potential for Concord to make a comeback. Sony just didn't want to give it that opportunity. They could have rebranded it as free to play. They could have changed things up, relaunched it, but Sony pulled the plug and they were just like, "Nah, we're washing our hands of it," because they didn't believe in it.
Yeah. No, I was just making fun of Sony.
Well, yeah.
Um, let's continue on. We got some confirmation from EA Sports via their website that Madden 26 and the College Football 26 will not be available on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. That means it is the games run on Gen 8 systems ends after 12 years of being on those systems. That's it. If you want to play Madden 26, you got to update to the Series X or the PS5. That's it. It's done. And I don't know. I don't know about you. I don't know why we're still making games for last gen. We're 5 years now, going on 5 years into this generation of the Series X and PS5, and companies need to let the past go. I get that there's a big player base on there still, but how else are we gonna move forward if we keep just developing for the past?
Yeah, I think a lot of publishers just they couldn't let go of the past because they needed to hit a certain like quota in terms of like their revenue for these games. They just didn't want to take the hit. And I
Yeah,
think that's why, especially for the sports games, that they wanted to keep releasing them on last gen. I remember, granted, it didn't last as long, but there were games that were still coming out like on PS3 and 360, like 2 or 3 years after the Xbox One and PS4 came out. And it's just like, why? For what? Like everybody's migrating over. Like what are you doing? Like, and I think the fact that they were so hesitant to fully get into next or current gen, that was why people didn't upgrade. That was why console sales are low. Like it was all like cyclical. Like the console sales were low, so they kept porting to last gen, which kept people from upgrading, which made console sales go low, which kept people from like it kept going on. It was like a vicious circle where everything was affecting everything. So something had to give, and this was essentially it. Like publishers need to let go of last gen. There's still a high player base, but you're not going to grow that player base if you're constantly selling to the same people. Like that's literally what the problem is now with PS5 and Xbox Series S and X. The console player base is not growing. So that's why like both Sony and Microsoft are expanding to PC, expanding to cloud, expanding to Switch. So they have to keep increasing, but if you're constantly selling to those older generations, like they're not gonna upgrade because of that. People
yeah,
aren't gonna buy new consoles if the games are still coming to the console they have. So yeah, why would they? There's no reason to. So
yeah.
I think this is a good sign that finally, I mean, granted, we're already halfway through, we're more than halfway through this generation. So, I mean, better late than never, I guess.
I mean,
But
I get for Madden, I get it, but for me, the real test is Call of Duty. If Call of Duty is only on next gen system or current, I keep saying next gen, on current generation systems, not last gen, that will be the defining moment where yeah, every game is gonna do it now because Call of Duty did it. Call of Duty is
well,
massive, and it being on PC, PlayStation, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One and PS4, they need to cut that cord. And then I feel like once they do it, then everybody else will follow suit.
yeah, I think you're right. There's two games that or two franchises that could do it. One of them is Call of Duty, and the other is Grand Theft Auto. So I think once Grand Theft Auto drops or
Yeah,
GTA 6 drops,
yeah,
everybody's going to upgrade because the
yeah,
people who haven't yet will do it. They need to play GTA, and the only way to do it is on console because it's not on PC. So we're going to see an influx of people coming to consoles, and we're going to see a lot of sales on either side, and that's going to be basically the go ahead for other publishers to leave last gen behind. I think that's probably the thinking behind it, that EA is seeing, oh, GTA is supposed to come out this year. This year we can take that hit because we know there's going to be a lot more players coming that are going to buy this game on current gen. I
yep.
hate that's what it took, but I mean, here we are.
I mean, what can we do? I,
Right.
they're gonna, we're just the consumers. They're gonna do whatever they gonna do to make their money. and that's it. We're gonna just follow along. We lucky for us, we already have the current gen systems and a PC to play more games on. So we're one of the few to be able to take advantage of any of these changes that's going on. We don't have to scramble to get a console or anything like that. But people will be scrambling once they realize GTA and Call of Duty will not be on last gen.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, granted, at least the stock won't be an issue like it was.
Yeah.
So there's also that, but this is ultimately a good thing. So I'm glad that at least EA and then hopefully Take-Two will do it too with their sports games, because I'm tired of freaking not even because honestly, like, I don't play sports games. For me in particular, I played the WWE games. Literally, one of the developers said in an interview that the reason why they have to hold back on certain stuff is because they are essentially forced to make the game run on last gen. And there's not much wiggle room for like improvements on current gen. So there you go. Like that's there even developers are saying like we got to hold our games back from being what they can be. Like there's a new mode in that game that's only available on next gen or current gen. So the fact that like they had to cut out a certain mode is like we're already getting to the point where like they can't even hide it anymore. Like last gen it's not worth developing for anymore if you're gonna cut out features entirely. So yeah, I'm glad that we're getting to that point. Is it gonna matter? Because like in 2 or 3 years we're gonna just getting more new consoles. So I don't know, but like I said, better late than never.
Yeah. All right, let's talk. We have some PlayStation news, and it's not good. PlayStation's been having a lot of a bout of bad news. Last week was raising prices in all over the place, Canada and South America and Central America.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're talking about games leaving their service, their PlayStation Plus service. And some of them are okay, we get it. Games leave Game Pass all the time, but it's never a first party game. You don't see Indiana Jones, South of Midnight, Gears of War, Halo leaving Game Pass. And that is what's happening over at Sony right now. We have 2 Resistance games leaving the service at PlayStation Plus, as well as 20 other games. So it's total 22 games leaving the service this coming month, and the prices are getting higher. The games are leaving, first party games as well. It's like, where's the benefit for consumers there?
Yeah, I really don't understand, because like for games that are in a subscription service, like the whole limited time in the service is supposed to be like, okay, you can play this game, and then when it leaves, you gotta buy it. Like, if you really want to play it, you gotta buy it. Who is gonna buy Resistance in 2025? Like, realistically, like who hasn't bought it already, I should say. Because like you're not gonna get many new sales. Like the whole point of a game leaving a subscription service is to promote, hey, if you really want to play it again or want to keep playing it, you gotta buy it. Like, yeah. I get that. Like when like Clair Obscure, like when that leaves the service, I'm sure a lot of people are gonna want to buy it after it leaves. I don't know how long it's gonna be on Game Pass, but I'm sure people are gonna want to buy it if they really want to keep playing it.
Definitely.
But who's gonna buy those older games? Like that's the part I don't understand. And usually when games leave a service, it's because like of a licensing thing. Like that's how long they paid for it. Mm-hmm. It's Sony's game. They don't have to pay anything. It's their game. They could keep it on there forever. Nobody's gonna buy it. Like I don't know. I don't understand first party I can understand first party titles not launching day one, because obviously they want to get the sales and then double dip when it goes into the subscription services for people to sign up. But for it to leave after it gets in there. That's what I don't understand. Like, why is it even leaving? It's your own game. You don't got to pay anything for it.
I don't understand that at all. All right, so I'm you know me, I'm the Xbox guy. I love Xbox. I love Game Pass. They give me day one games. You know what I'm saying? Why is it that on the PlayStation side, games are being taken away? I don't get day one games, and the service is just prices aren't increasing. It's not. I look at that and I go, "That's terrible. Let's not do that." And I'm gonna stick with Game Pass. Because
Right.
I have one Game Pass Ultimate subscription. I share with my wife. I got it on because I have a PC. I could download and play all those games on my PC. I could play them on my Xbox. My wife can play any of the Game Pass games on her Xbox. That's consumer friendly right there. I just saved myself a ton of money right there. You know? Whereas
Yeah.
PlayStation is like, nope, you can't play that. We're taking it out. And if you want to play any of the rest of the games, pay us more. Like, it's crazy. This economy, who's gonna say, yeah, sure, let's do this versus Game Pass? That's crazy to me.
Yeah, I don't get it. And this is not gonna draw people into your service if they're seeing that first party titles are just leaving. And I know they it's happened before, but it's the fact that it keeps happening that I just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know what Sony's thinking. We're never gonna know. So
We're never gonna know. They just
yeah.
do stuff because they can. That's been apparent. It feels like Sony and Nintendo are in a battle for who can be the shittiest company to screw over their consumers and who is gonna defend them the most. Because I've seen so many people defend Nintendo and so many people defend Sony. It's mind-boggling that they just get away with it because people don't seem to care.
Yeah. Well, we'll jump right into some Nintendo news then, because the pre-orders officially dropped last week, this week. They're launching again June 5th, but the pre-orders had originally been delayed due to the tariff situation, and now they came back officially because tariffs were taken off the table. You know, the old switcheroo from that guy.
Yeah.
So it's gone mainstream. People are talking about Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders and the chaos, because once the clock struck midnight, it was absolute chaos. Nobody had it. The sites were going down. People had it in their cart, paid for it, but then it was refunded because they didn't have any more in stock. It was absolutely madness and sold out pretty much everywhere, except for a couple like hidden links with either Walmart or GameStop, where they had like some extra stock that was just like extra, you know, like they were like, all right, we have some more, let's put the link back up. Either way, it was absolute chaos. It felt like for me when the Series X dropped, and it was absolute madness trying to get a Series X at launch.
Yeah.
That's what this feels like. This feels like the same kind of chaos, but I don't get it because it's not a pandemic anymore. So what's going on?
Yeah,
You know?
I think it was understandable when it happened for the Xbox Series S and X and PS5. Like you said, it was a pandemic. There were stock issues. They had to halt production, so like then you couldn't get in the store. So it's like there was a lot going on at the same time that caused a lot of issues, and it took months. I want to say like a whole year, honestly, to get like a good way to like get a console without having to like wait in queues and stuff like that. I get for like the launch, it's gonna be because everybody's like jumping in like at the same time. It's gonna cause crashes and stuff like that. But you would think 5 years later, after the PS5 and Xbox Series X went through this, that Nintendo would be like, okay, we saw what happened there. Let's not do that. let's make sure that this launch is as smooth as possible. And they didn't do that. They went with the same way that they done it before, and even honestly, even for the Switch initially, like there was stock issues. And honestly, I'm not even starting to think. I wholeheartedly believe that Nintendo is purposely limiting stock to
Ooh,
inflate the demand for their console. Because
drop the
I
price.
no, well, I mean that's a whole nother issue. But honestly, because even when I was at work, when like after the day that the pre-order started,
Mhm.
um, everybody was talking to me about it, like all the gamers and stuff like that. There's the Switch 2 launched and stuff like that. You're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. I was even like, granted, it was a very blip in my mind. I was like, maybe I could get one, and I just looked just to see if I could. I mean, obviously, I was just like, nah, it's not even worth it. But just the fact that, like, even for me, it became like a consideration. And I was like, do I really want it? Could I get it? Maybe. Now imagine that for like the average consumer who doesn't give a shit like about anything, that they'll just buy it. Like, if they see that people are having a hard time getting something, that's automatically gonna drive them to get it. They've done it before. Nintendo has done this before. You remember the whole amiibo stuff where they
Yes.
artificially limited stock to drive, even for like the less popular ones. They did it so that way it could drive demand up because they knew people were gonna want it. They knew people were gonna want it, and then that demand was gonna cause other people to, oh, like, why are people so like crazy over this stuff? Maybe I should like get into it. People want what they can't have. That's the thing. If they can't get a Switch 2, that's gonna drive them even more to be like, oh man, I gotta wait for the next drop. I gotta get it. Like, I want it, even though they're. You know how many people bought a Switch and then didn't even turn it on after like the first like month or two? Like, I remember there was like a study that like I think we talked about it actually. It was like less than 50% of people turned it on, turned it off, or turn it off, turn it on after like the first year or two.
We did
I
talk about that. I remember.
Yeah, it was something like that. But like that's what like the demand does to people. People want something just because it's new, just because it's fresh. And I always said it. People will buy new tech just because it's new. It doesn't matter if it's better or if it's functional or anything like that. They want it because it's new. And I'm part of that crew. Like, there's stuff I see that like on TikTok or stuff like that where it's like a little piece of technology that just came out and they'll sell it to you. And it's just like, I was like, oh, I want it. But it's like, do I really need it? I don't. So then I don't get it. But there's a lot of people who don't have that like mentality to like do that. They'll just be like, I want it, I'm gonna get it. So honestly, I think that's what Nintendo is trying to do. They're trying to drive up the demand by limiting the stock. So that way when it does come back in stock, oh, the Switch 2 drop, the next supply drop or whatever, and then they're gonna go get it. Like and it causes a commotion, so that way they're constantly in the what is it called? In the talk, I don't know.
Like in people's faces about it,
Yeah. So people are constantly talking about it. Like, I know, like when because one of my coworkers was talking about how one of his friends got like 2 of them, and it's just like, you really gonna buy like another one? Like, you gonna buy it off him? Like, I don't know. And then there was also like the eBay scammers.
Yeah.
Who I saw a thing online where, I mean, granted, this has been done. Actually, I got scammed once like this too. It wasn't for a console; it was for a game. Where I didn't read properly, and that's my fault. I fully admit that. But this is gonna happen to other people. Where somebody listed a Switch 2, it said Switch 2 pre-order or something like that.
Yes.
And then it says read description, and then it's like price maybe like $50 more or something like that. And then it says this is not a Switch console. This is just a picture of this pre-order ticket that I got at whatever. And literally, I think they said like 2 people bought it, and then that's what they got. They got a picture of the receipt that they got for pre-ordering the Switch.
$400, $450 for a picture.
Yeah, and it's crazy that like this stuff still goes on. Like, and eBay doesn't seem to have any like safeguards for it. Like, it just happens,
I think as long as they put it in the description, you're pretty safe, because it's like, it says read description and it tells you exactly what it is. So then the eBay is going to come back at you like, well, didn't you read this? And they'll be like, oh, well, no. Then you're screwed.
So yes, but that doesn't mean it's not a scam. So I don't know. It's a gray area where
It
like
is. It
yes,
is gray.
it's on the person buying the things, but still they shouldn't be even allowed to do that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely scummy. You're a scumbag
Yeah,
for
it's
doing that.
very very scummy. But that just goes to show that people are willing to buy the shit even though like it's not through legitimate means. Like that's what the demand does to people. That's what the having the limited stock does. It creates that demand where people just want it just to have it.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of scams, there's one going around for Nintendo right now. Um and Nintendo's actually commented on it. They're talking about how people are getting their data taken away from them simply by clicking a link in the email from um, game previews. So that the game previews are for Elden Ring and Silent Hill F for the Switch 2. They will say, "Oh, we'll send you an email with a link. You'll sign in with your Nintendo information, and you'll gain access to this preview." And then next thing you know, all your information is stolen. If you have credit cards or debit cards, anything that's connected to your account, all of it is gone. Passwords, everything. They will take your information. They'll start, making other accounts, identity theft at that point. Anything is possible when they have your information. So that's actual scam that's going on that Nintendo's talking to their customers. They put out a tweet and it's just been getting out of hand that they had to say something on Twitter to let people know don't fall for this scam.
Right.
I
It's
mean,
it's it's really sad that the how gullible people are for this type of stuff. And granted, I admitted that I fell for like a scam before, so it's like it's not too crazy that people will fall for it, but it's just like you got to be careful, at least when it comes to like emails. Like email scams are like so old at this point.
yeah, they've been around since internet.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the internet. That it's just like I don't even open stuff for emails anymore. Like that's how bad it's gotten. Like I'm so distrustful of any emails I get because
Mm-hmm.
I'm so worried it's gonna be like spam or they're gonna be maybe not even a virus, but that yeah, they're gonna steal my information and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's like just be so careful. Like there's little indicators on what is a secure link and what's secure, what's an actual, like if you hover over the email address, if it actually links to what the website is supposed to be. Or there's a lot of ways. Like you should look up, there's plenty of ways to check to see if like you might be getting scammed.
What?
Especially if you got cold emailed. Like if you didn't sign up for anything and they're sending you stuff, then just don't do it.
Yeah. What I like to do is if I get an email that I don't recognize or I think is fishy, I'll Google the address and
Yes.
then type in scam or legit, and you'll look up. You'll have people on Reddit talking about it. So many Google searches about it.
Yeah.
Google it. Google is your friend. If you have any inklings that this may not be legit, Google it and find out and just secure yourself. And you can do that by clicking the link in the description, getting NordVPN for your PCs and your phones.
A
Great discount.
nice segue.
So all right. The last bit of news we have is something about Discord, which I think everybody who has a PC as well as consoles now, because you can use Discord on consoles to it is the gateway for cross-platform. It is getting a new CEO. It points Haman Sakani. He is going to be the new CEO for Discord, and lots of people are talking about this new position. He was the vice chairman at Activision Blizzard. Now he will be CEO at Discord. They're going public, so it's not going to be a private company anymore. So lots of changes may be coming down to Discord. Hopefully that they're good and they don't sort of tarnish the reputation for what Discord has. Because let me tell you, Discord has been a friend of everybody. It has
We
been
use Discord to do this podcast.
we're using Discord right now, yeah. So we hope that with this new position, there aren't too many drastic changes to the point where we may have to find another platform. That's what the fear is with this newfound CEO. maybe nothing will change. Maybe this is just something for the company to move forward and grow better, or maybe something will change. But we will keep an eye on this because we use it every day. We use it all the time. I use it all the time. That's how I'm able to play with people on PC, on PlayStation. We get together on Call of Duty.
Right.
It is a good platform that we want to remain good. So let's hope that this newfound appointment for CEO for Discord does good and not more harm.
Well, we can certainly be hopeful of that.
Yes.
I personally don't think I don't think anything bad is going to happen, but I also don't think anything good is going to happen either. I think Discord has slowly been dipping their toes into like the microtransaction stuff, which is kind of weird because like it's a like communication platform. It's not like it's hard to monetize already, but obviously they gotta make money on it somehow. So I guess there's gonna be more stuff you're gonna have to pay for. They might paywall stuff. They might.
I don't the boost, right? The Discord boost or Nitro boost that they have.
They have that.
Like they service.
They might put more features behind that. I mean, we don't know. Obviously, like you said, nothing may even come of this. But ultimately, I think this is probably a good reason, or not a good reason, but like there should always be alternatives. And I remember when Microsoft shut down Skype, that people were upset at it, not because they use Skype, but because they didn't even try to compete with Discord. Like they could have made Skype something similar, or they could have done something with this, so that way Discord, in a lot of ways similar to how Bing was to Twitch, and they shut that down too. So it's like you need alternatives, because if there's something that happens with the main platform that everybody uses, you want there to be that kind of like backup plan. Like I know there's like TeamSpeak and other services out there. I know there is. But
there is?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I use Discord only.
Yeah. No. I know TeamSpeak is one of them, and I know there's another one that I heard of before. But the fact that you didn't hear about them is the problem. Like we need to be more aware of other alternatives, so that way if Discord takes a plunge, it's not the end of the world, So I mean, granted, it's not the end of the world anyway. Like it's just Discord, like whatever. But
first world problems here.
It is, it's first world problems ultimately. But still, we shouldn't have to hope that they won't fuck shit up. Like we should be confident in that the people in charge can do stuff right by the consumer, because ultimately that's who they serve. They serve us. We don't serve them. So hopefully nothing really happens, and it's just people coming into more positions and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what can happen from this.
We'll be cautiously optimistic about the future of Discord, and we'll let you know what happens. I mean, I will definitely be speaking up about this because we, like you said, use it all the time. So we'll definitely keep an eye closely on Discord and its future.
Yes, we definitely will, because we need it.
Yeah, that's all we got for the news this week. It's been a crazy week, and
it's been a busy week.
Yeah, we're gonna get back to gaming. There's so many games have come out this past week.
So many games that come out. Somebody that's gonna come out.
Yes,
it's a great time to be a gamer. And with that being said, we just want to remind you that if you're watching on YouTube, you can like, comment, and subscribe. That'll help us out, and we want to engage with the community and get feedback and stuff like that. Because that's how we grow. That's how we get better at what we do. Also in the description, if you check, you can see our sponsors, which is W Energy, NordVPN, and Starforge PCs. You can get discounts on all their stuff. And if you're listening on a podcast, you can rate us, share us, and because we do get a lot of listeners on the podcast, and we do see that. I think we're almost at like 2,000 listens, or downloads or something like that. That's actually pretty good. So yeah, continue to do so, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.
Beggars.